So it gives me pleasure. We have Nick Murray, who is the what's your position with NORML? Nick Murray is the founder of the chapter of the NORML, National Organization to Reform Marijuana Laws. He has a few things to say on the subject. I hope you have an open mind. Please welcome Nick Murray.
One more. Perfect. Thank you, Gene. Hey, Live Free or Die rally. All right, so I'm here because my friend John Dvorak, some of you may have seen him speak here before. He's known as the hemp expert. He's from Boston. We had him a couple times at UNH. The guy is a wealth of information on local hemp history, products, new products, innovation. The guy, he knows his stuff. Hempology.org is his website, John Dvorak. He gave me his spot tonight because he couldn't be here. So I just want to touch on the benefits of hemp. If we are a little bit unfamiliar, I'm sure a lot of us know hemp, the industrial plant, the 10-foot stalk, that is the cannabis plant, a cousin of the short, bushy marijuana plant, but they're very, very different. Make no mistake. The tall hemp stalk is the strongest natural fiber found on Earth. The fibers found within the stalk of the hemp plant are the longest, therefore the strongest on Earth. The herd surrounding that fiber can be used for all sorts of industrial uses. Paper, cement, hempcrete. There's this thing called hempcrete that you mix the herd, you ground the herd up, and you put some water in lye or something, and it turns into hemp concrete. And you can build it. It's crack resistant apparently, bug resistant. It breathes because it's natural. Keeps you warm in the winter and cool in the summer. It's pretty awesome. Also, there's this thing called hemp ethanol. We're all caught up on corn ethanol today, but we don't realize that corn is subsidized so much by the federal government that it makes it the only worthwhile crop to grow. And we totally forget about hemp. That's what's so wrong about government intervention. Of course, we all know this. Our government is banning things that are cheap and you can grow so quickly. Hemp, you're cutting it down 3 times a year. You get 3 crops, 3 harvests. Where with trees, you'd have it 1 crop for every 30 years. So if we think of that in terms of paper, you can grow 100 times more hemp in the same area that you can trees. It's a literal no-brainer for paper and rope and clothing products, but the federal government refuses to recognize its use, refuses to distinguish between the smokable marijuana and the industrial hemp plant. That in itself is an injustice, but we still have work to do on the state level. This is obviously not going to end with the federal government. We all know that here. That's why this is a state issue. So just please keep that in mind. So, hemp, marijuana, obviously 2 different things. Hemp is a tall stalk, about 10 foot tall. Marijuana, as we know it, both part of the cannabis plant family, but marijuana is a short, bushy plant. So you hear a lot that people don't want to legalize hemp because they think that people will be growing marijuana to smoke within their hemp fields. When they say that, you know they're crazy. You know they don't know what they're talking about because there's a thing called cross-pollination. This is the same plant. If you try to grow your marijuana, your bushy marijuana in a field of hemp, they're going to cross-pollinate and you're going to get this weird plant that is not tall, not strong, not short, not bud. You grow marijuana for the buds, and it's a very different growing condition than when you want to grow it straight tall as hemp for the fibers. So when someone tells you that we're not going to legalize hemp because they'll grow marijuana for smoking in it, you know they're full of shit. So just remember that. Prohibition, this thing called federal marijuana prohibition is pretty crazy. It means that we can't garden. It means that we can't be gardeners. It means that we can't hang out in our own living rooms and our own backyards without fearing government, without fearing force. It means that we can't ingest the things that we want to ingest freely the way a free society should be, the way that we as individuals should make decisions over our bodies and our lives and our consciousness. You talk to people about the whole raw milk thing. Back and forth, you talk about raw milk and you talk about cannabis. It's ingestion. I should be able to ingest whatever substances I deem are right for my body at this particular time because I am an individual and I am sovereign. And that's what it comes down to. So when the federal government tells you you can't, you know they're, you know, I'm not going to repeat that. But, you know, prohibition is unjust, hypocritical on so many levels. On a practical basis, look at our prisons. Prisons are overcrowded. On the federal level, 70% of you know, the profile of federal prison is a small-time possession into sales, you know, drug seller, and our prisons are being filled with these people that have committed non-violent crimes, and you know, are kind of a slave to their circumstance. You live in a poor inner city, and there are no businesses there because the gangs have chased them all away. But what do the gangs make their money off of? The gangs make their money off of drugs. What is the one drug that most gangs make their money off of? That's marijuana. You go down to Mexico and you talk to the cartel leader, and you say, oh, we're going to legalize marijuana in the United States tomorrow, and they're like, oh, geez, I need to find something to take 70% of my revenue from. I'm going to be out of business tomorrow. This is what we're dealing with, people. The violence on the border is destroying our country. It's destroying our border, and we can't do anything besides think of more ways to send bombs and helicopters and more troops down there. Mexico, since 2006, has used the Mexican federal army to combat the drug cartels. Since that point, almost 30,000 people have died on that border needlessly from drug-related violence. It's a horrible injustice, and it's something that we can fix very quickly just by legalizing marijuana. But how do we do that? And how do we know what arguments are working? And, you know, I hear all the time, I obviously wasn't alive in the 70s, but I hear a lot of time from people that we were so close to legalizing in the 70s. You know, Carter was all about it, the Schaefer Commission in 72, but Nixon just throws that away. We can make so much progress and see it all go away so quickly. So we just need to keep that in mind when we're fighting here in Concord and you know, Boston and all these state capitals. That's where the success is going to happen. So what arguments are working for cannabis and what's not? Is it the economic argument? We all know that legalizing hemp, industrial hemp, can create a huge array of market industry, jobs through the industrial uses, but the retail market for cannabis would be crazy. Look at the medical infrastructure that's already there in California and Colorado. People want this stuff. Obviously, it's very expensive. Drug dealers make a lot of money off of it because the demand is huge. Our government refuses to recognize the huge demand for this product and refuses to recognize our right to use it. But what's really the argument that I think is going to work for us here? It's the constitutional argument. It's the argument of the Bill of Rights, our First Amendment. This is how this rally comes to exist. This rally is a First Amendment, holy First Amendment rally, right, Gene? That's awesome. That argument is going to get us legal marijuana. We have a constitutional right to ingest the substances that we want to ingest because we are individuals and because we live in a free society. When the government tells you what you can eat and what you can drink and what you can smoke and what you can think, it all comes back together. You control your own consciousness. You control that with the things you ingest. And when the government tells you you can't ingest something because they think it might alter you in some way, that's just wrong. It's very unjust. Yeah.